Welcome to the 1987 NBA Draft. Our teams have already been fully briefed on draft procedures, but for our fans here at Felt Forum, for those in attendance at Team Draft headquarters across the country, and for our national television audience on Superstation WTBS, I would note the following rules. First, the draft will consist of 7 rounds. In the first round, each team has 5 minutes to make a selection. In the second through 5th rounds, the selection must be made in 2 minutes. And in rounds 6 and 7, there's a 1-minute time limit. Everyone's anxious to get started, so let's do it. The first selection in the 1987 NBA Draft will be made by the San Antonio Spurs.
Phone to San Antonio executives in San Antonio, Texas, ready to get the word. Unless there's a tremendous shock, that will be David Robinson, the 7'1" center from the Naval Academy, who's an ensign in the Navy right now. And by the way, not here today because Ensign Robinson is having breakfast this morning in Washington, D.C. with the Vice President of the United States. I guess that's a good excuse. Right now, let's get a personal profile of this man, Ensign David Robinson.
I'm more oriented. I mean, I know where I'm going. I know what I want to do, and I apply myself a lot better. And this place has helped me in a lot of different ways. A lot of ways that even I couldn't have suspected when I came. And I'd really like to play pros. That's one of my main goals right now. I've tried to approach the game in a way that not to get too caught up in it. That way, you know, I feel like I'll work on it and it'll be fun and I'll learn to enjoy it. And that's pretty much what's happened. Now I'm to the point where I really enjoy it a lot, and I spend a lot of my free time doing it, and that's because I'm starting to love the game. But I think I did approach it in the right way. I mean, I wasn't swamped with basketball right away. So I gradually learned to like it a little bit more and a little bit more, and now I'm pretty much consumed with it.
David Robinson, as I said, David had breakfast with the Vice President of the United States this morning in Washington. I have a feeling David's watching this on television right now. San Antonio has made up their mind. They are ready now to announce the pick, and we go to NBA Commissioner David Stern.
The San Antonio Spurs select David Robinson from Navy. The second pick in the first round belongs to the Phoenix Suns.
And Phoenix has 5 minutes now to make that selection. But David Robinson, as everybody knew, the first pick in the draft, he's 7'1", 235 pounds. And Larry Connolly, as our college basketball expert, tell us the details of the game that David Robinson will bring to the National Basketball Association.
Bobby, if you're an NBA team and you want to draw up a center, a prototype center, you use David Robinson as the blueprint. The consensus first-team All-American, winner of every Meaningful Player of the Year award. He's done everything in Navy. He scored over 2,500 points, grabbed over 1,300 rebounds, shot better than 60% from the field. He's a complete basketball player. And all of those statistics, he's the only player in the history of the NCAA to do all 3 of those things. He's a very strong player inside. He has gotten so much mature from his junior to his senior year. As Rick and I were talking about earlier, he's just gotten better and better. He is a raw talent. He's got it inside. He can shoot from the outside. He's a great shot blocker, and he's great on the inside. He's the type of player that when you bring him on your club, you're immediately better, not only just for his ability to play basketball, but because of his temperament. He is a great young man, and he's going to be a welcome asset to the San Antonio Spurs.
Rick Barry, San Antonio has gambled on taking this player. There's no question about it because Ensign David Robinson has 2 years of naval duty, and there's even a question as to the exact right situation with San Antonio. Talk about it from the Spurs' point of view.
Well, the Spurs have the rights to David Robinson for 1 year. As to whether or not that's going to go beyond that to the 2 years he's out, that may have to go to court to find out the answer to that. But as I mentioned earlier, and I know the Spurs fans won't like me saying this, if I were David Robinson, I would not sign. He has the ability to be in the best position any player has ever been in any NBA draft. He can be a free agent after 2 years. He can pick the team he wants to play for, negotiate with them, negotiate with anyone, and get the best possible deal that he can get. If I were him, I think that's what I would do. Unless the Spurs can figure out if he doesn't want to play there and he'd like to go somewhere else, to make a deal when they can, sign him, and then try and make a deal with that team so that they know that they've got him under lock and key, ready for him when he comes out in 2 years. But I will say one thing about this young man. He is the kind of player that can make a team a winner, a champion. He is probably the best defensive shot blocker that I have seen since Bill Russell's days. He is a tremendous young person, and he is a hard worker. And I say that because of last year's experience at the World Championships. And I think that Lute Olson, Bobby Crimmins, and also Jerry Pym, the coaches on that team, deserve a lot of credit for this young man's improvement. He was very weak in a lot of fundamental departments, and they spent hours upon hours upon hours working with this young man, and he has developed into a fine player.
Larry, what about David Robinson's view? What does it mean not playing for a couple of years? Do the Navy? Can he play in the Navy to speak of?
Well, obviously he can. I mean, he's getting ready to go into the Pan Am Games, and also the Olympics are coming up, so he's got 2 venues there to take his act.